There was a day when you almost gave up, not because you didn't care, but because you cared so much it hurt. You had nothing left in the tank. You couldn't cry one more time. You were tired of the repeating cycles, the spiritual noise, the silence in your prayers. And that day, that version of you that was built from survival started to crack. Not because you were breaking down, but because you were something deeper. And you was breaking open. That day wasn't your ending. It was a portal into a version of you who doesn't chase, who doesn't perform, who doesn't carry everyone else's pain just to feel worthy. That day, you thought it was over. That one moment of the old energy finally surrendering. And that new frequency space had to arrive. This is your reminder. Hard moments are not evidence that it's not working. They are the exact proof that something is. Let it break. Let it burn. Let yourself be made now so you don't need to bounce back. You're not going back there anymore. You're becoming who you always were before the world got loud. The version of you that's rising now, she doesn't just survive the storm. She becomes the lightning. Today, episode 3. I'm excited to be here with you guys. Make sure that, if you've been here, you've been in this space before, you've touched the bottom and you said, I'm not done. I'm not done. Stay here. You're not alone. In the midst of sharing with you guys the story, right? What it is to be the best version of yourself, what it is to continue on. When you find out that you are, the day you find out, and all the stressing and all the suffering and all the things that you feel using these words that you're going through, and you put yourself through the knit and the grit, and you're like, all right, I know I got this, I can do this. Seek community. Seek people who have the same vision as you. Seek people who have this tenacity. Maybe even a step further, you want to be around those. It's okay to be the one who doesn't know everything in the room. Because if you know everything in the room, you're in the wrong room. Where's the room for growth? Right? As women, our bodies are absolutely amazing. I remember where I had last left off about, finishing school and being told that this was something that I can't do. Mind you, I had children. They were both so young and went with me through everything, right? This is the story of our lives. Mompreneurs. These are things that we do. The day that my life really shifted, and I want to see the day before, but the day my life really shifted is August 23rd, 2022. I talk about this a lot. And the reason why I talk about it is that people are like, well, do you remember the moment before? Do you remember the moment before all of it happened? Kind of, not really. And how will it translate now to you guys? Like, what the hell is all this for? They say that our talents are, you do the world a great disservice when you don't stand up into your talents, right? In a world right now where we associate money with survival, we will go and do something that we don't want to do just to get what we desire, thinking that that's another way through. I've talked to mentors, I've talked to entrepreneurs, people who have wealth, if you want to call it that. And one of the things that I found is that, if that's the case and they want all these things, there's still some lack. There's still lack in the language that I pick up on. And no offense to them or anything like that, we get to the stages of where we are, and it could very well be that it took you from a limiting belief to get there. I need to get this to get here, so I'm going to grind here to do this. Okay, great. Now, in the grinding and in the hustling and the bustling and running yourself into the ground, this is an old paradigm that, oh, well, you're lazy. You're not using all your time properly. And then the time came, okay, we need balance. We need harmony. We need these things. I don't know if you guys realize that consciousness has been shifting every so couple of years. And it's now shifted into, we need rest. We need stillness. It's stillness where you find everything. It's like, what? It's absolutely true, though. When the water is boiling and it's things are chaotic in there. Yes, it's moving at a very fast rate. Is it moving at a steady rate, or is it just and just burning fire, all polarity into one extreme? Or do you want the water that starts to get cold and icy and don't do nothing? It's just, right? We don't want those things. Learning how to polarize our emotions are everything. So, back to the day I got struck by lightning. I was at home with the children, and I didn't think anything of it. I might have mentioned this in the other videos. Who knows? Sometimes with it causes some fog with like the nervous system and other things like that. We'll get into those videos later, as me sharing my stories of the things that I've been seeing and witnessing and how it translates to you. Because the point of me seeing these things and having this, my life no longer became my life. I woke up to the mission that I came here to do. And I've been spending the last 2.5 years figuring it out. I woke up to my purpose, so it's now what? I'm going to tell you guys this. A lot of us are like, well, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do here? Well, now that you found your purpose, now what? You execute. How the hell do I execute? Well, what is your why? How do you tie your why into your purpose? Because I didn't walk into this. I didn't choose massage therapy. I did not choose to get struck by lightning. I did not choose to work with my clientele on the deep level that I can. I did not choose that. This was not ideal for me. Right now I'm learning how to act and to model, because it's bringing another side out of me that is in conjunction with this other side. It's embodying the whole. And acting and modeling brings that out because it pulls me back into my body. And when it pulls me back into my body, I can look at the screen, I can look at you, I can watch my eyes, I can watch my mouth, I can hear myself. I can be with myself and not be afraid to be with myself. Pure, unconditional love is what I found when I chose acting and modeling. I found that I had so much hate inside my body. Someone like me had these things and didn't realize that it was there. But as I'm going through my training in the classes and doing the self-taping and the monologues, I'm realizing this is the other side that I just did not know. This is the other side that no matter how many mentors I went through, and they're all absolutely so amazing, but they only teach from where they are. So you have to go to certain areas in your life to get these teachings or these things that you're looking for, these opportunities, and it will lead you like breadcrumbs. So that day, it was 3:30 in the afternoon. I had the kids home, and it was my only 30 minutes of enjoyment, so I took a nap. Woke up exactly at 3:30 because my alarm went off, and I know I had to get the kids to karate by 4 o'clock, so I literally ran to the kitchen, got me a protein shake, and it was thundering and lightning. And as soon as I grabbed my fridge handle, my left hand, I saw a lightning bolt oh my God, it's like this big. And it hit the side of the house. Any closer would have been in the sink. Well, as soon as that moment, I grabbed the fridge, all that energy charged, hit my hand, hit my heart, hit my head, and then it felt like it exploded everywhere. I don't remember those moments. All I know, it felt like I was completely blacked out after I screamed, after I saw that. And then I don't know what was happening in between. I know the kids came out and they're like, I was screaming. Like, mommy, are you okay? But I just remember letting go and finally able to let go. And I was sitting there looking at my hands, and I looked at the kids, and I'm like, did this really just happen to me? Nobody's here. Nobody knows, just me and the kids. I remember telling my mom, and she's like, was anybody there? How did I not know? Some things can happen to us, and we think we know what's going on with people, and we don't. The reason why we watch so many shows, right? So many of the psychological thrillers or backstories of people. It reminds me of Rent, right? Remember when Rent came out? It was giving you different backstories of people and how they mesh together as a whole. Now a lot of these storylines are adopting that kind of model from what I see, and I love those. Because not only does it show you their life, but it shows you how they mesh together and separately. Because not only is the main storyline happening, you got the main pipe going on, but then you have these characters here, and then these characters have their own storyline. And in the storyline, you see how all the other characters play together, so you get a real full story of the whole. This is the first time that we're actually able to see what's going on with the other characters, what drives them to where they are. And when I saw that, I was like, this is so cool. Now apply it to life. There are things that people are going through that we do not know. There are things that you and I are going through that we do not know. We are already acting. We are already showing up in another space of time where we're not even registering how powerful we are, but we're doing it on a daily basis, right? So when this translates to your emotions, and what we're all looking for, it's not a system, it's not a program. It's alignment, it's resonance, it's frequency and vibration. Learning how to match the two, the frequency and the vibration, and you in the middle carrying yourself. Learning how to ride the waves of this system, this world. Because when we learn how to do that, it can be painful. It can feel like pain. Pain, they say, is our greatest teacher. What if we change the word from pain to catalyst? It is a catalyst to push you into something else. Your body heats up, the pressure, the chemicals are changing. And when that happens, when the full chemical structure aligns with itself with resonance, and it goes do 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 do, whoa, 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 whoa. When it creates these sounds, all these things I hear, by the way, when it creates these sounds, you are in full resonance. Me sitting here in front of you, I can see the outline of my body, right? But then if I go a little bit deeper and I move around a little bit, I can see my light around my body. I can see how it's trickling down, right? And what this means for me is I am looking at myself and I see that I'm holding resonance as me, who I identify as me. Right? If I tell myself that I'm ugly, if I'm fat, I'm depressed, I'm sad, my skin isn't good, I have to use all these things, my hair is falling out, oh my God, I can't get control of what I'm eating, I'm so depressed, oh, my ears are ringing, left side. Whew. Thank you. All of these things are not good. We are what we tell ourselves, and I'll be going into that more and more as we go along. Just wanted to share with you guys a little bit on the journey and understand that your story is extremely relatable. What you're looking for is on the other side of that bullshit that we hold on to. That other side that we say, oh, I need to be this. I need to be this, and I need to show this. Yeah, we all had masks. Even the gods and goddesses, these deities that we worship, they were like, call me this. This is who I am. But we're all underneath the sun. So if we're all underneath the sun and you find that it has personality, anything that has personality has duality. And you have to find out where their personality lies and what they believe in, what characteristics are there, because they can show you who they are. They can tell you. They'll show bits and pieces. But once you really get to understand someone, they can no longer contain what's in there. There's a reason why they're like, oh my God, dating is this, dating is that, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand relationships. Well, you don't understand yourself. That's why you don't understand relationships. Relationships are everything. Relationships is the proper way of binding. And we'll talk about that more. When I mean binding with nature. I mean binding with an outside source. I mean binding with something else. Would you believe that we have a whole bunch of unstable bonds that always seek to be understood, seek to be served, seek to be validated? So when it's seeking to be validated and seeking to be understood, which is what we all do, we have that inner child mentality. That's why they say go back to that, because that is pure love. That is who we are in a nutshell. You think that you and I, at 34 years old, 40 years old, that you're really there mature-wise, or it's just a body? Emotionally, intelligence, we find that a lot of people did not surpass 10, 12, 15, 17, 18, maybe even 19. But you find that anywhere between these areas, 11 to 16, they've pretty much stayed right there. Or if it's worse, down to 8. The emotional intelligence of an 8-year-old, but you're identifying as 34. This is why I have conversations with the youth. Because they're like, oh, grown-ups are this, and they're not going to understand. I'm like, no. We're still going through some of the stuff that we forgot to release in high school. So, as I was talking with my client like this, I understood something. I was like, okay, these kids nowadays are going through a lot because our generation, we haven't processed the previous generation. We're like this placeholder, this buffer spot, where we can take the next generation this way, or we can bring it back this way. We want to take it further. So that buffer spot has to deal with us and our children and what we're doing with them now. I found out some really beautiful information about my kids, and I was like, oh my God, my kids were chosen. They were really chosen, these little farts, the way they came in. And I love them immensely. Ever since I had them, God opened up my heart so much more for me to love not only them, but for me to walk into my powers, for me to walk into who I am, my abilities, to be able to do this for other people. And I am forever grateful in my children. So grateful for them. They are my catalyst to move forward. And in ending this, finding out what your catalyst is, they still bring me to tears. They still get me emotional because it's not something sad. It's the smiles on their faces that I see. It's the smiles on their faces that's like, Mommy, wow, this is this and this is that. Like, I love when they want to go and explore the world and learn. Their heartbreaks break my heart. And I know that these are things that they have to go through. So if you're a mother or you're caring for a little one or somewhere out there, whatever, pay attention to them. They are our future. They are the ones that we birthed here or that we're caring for here so they can be more. And their lives are a little bit different now because of what we experienced with COVID. And it changed the whole schooling system. It changed the way we care for our kids, to pay more attention to them. Because do you want the system raising them, or do you want yourself to raise them? So you have to step up to that. You have to step up to that clause. There were things in my life that I did not know how to do, but I just know that I had to do them in the betterment of my children. Not getting them vaccinated, not taking them out of school, homeschooling them. All of these things in the midst of everything of what I'm doing. Having all these hats and figuring it out at the same time. But at the same time knowing that my children had to be uncaved. They had to be where they're not being used in the system because of who they are. I'm saying this for a reason to all the parents out there. When I was getting my son vaccinated before the year, every time I went to the doctor's office, I'm going to end with this because this is for all you mothers out there. his speech started to get bad out of nowhere. And I kept feeling it in my body. Let this shit go. Stop doing it. I was only doing it because I saw my mom do it. I saw everybody else do it. You have kids, get them vaccinated. They need to get in school. No. There are options out there that they do not tell you about, but they exist. This is why we have all these things with our tools. It's not that it's going to take over our tools. It's that when we really figure out and discover how to use our tools, because this is not the first rodeo, this is not the first time we've tapped into this technology. It's a cycle. It's going to keep going and going and going until we figure out how to really marry and mesh the two. It's an extension of self. So if it's an extension of self and you're a horrible person, you just create horrible AI. I'm going to end with this. The body is a complete replica of what you are feeling, who you are, what you identify with. And that will change on a moment's notice. So what that means is you have to be so absolutely definite in your purpose that you're executing every single day. That becomes your lifestyle. Why would you want to do something that is not in conjunction with your lifestyle, but being conditioned to be in this program and say, okay, this is my life, but you don't like it? That is not what you're supposed to be doing. That is not what you're supposed to be engulfed in. So many of us are afraid that things are going to fall. Where am I going to go? What's going to happen here? Am I going to be supported? Yes. Yes, you will be supported. In any which way, anything in life that has to deal with us, it has to deal with you. What do you desire out of life? And don't let anyone take that from you. They mean well, they just don't know. Forgive them for what they do not know. And keep it moving. We're not here to convince. We're here to just plant seeds. And just because somebody doesn't agree with us, they're not horrible. They're just in their own world. And at that moment right now, we have to honor that. Also honor that with our boundaries, that if you're going to be there, I'm going to be here, because this is how I choose to live my life. Thank you guys. My name is Lalini, your quantum healing expert, and we will reconvene again. Thank you so much. I'm going to do another one and we'll continue. These might not be consecutively. They will, whatever. We're just chit-chatting, okay? And if there's anything you guys ever want to discuss with me, you can always message me. You can always find me. We can do a consult. Whatever it is, be careful. Whatever it is within reason, that we find out the nitty-grittiness of who you are. So let's chat. You can like, subscribe, share, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your brother, tell your sister, anybody, if this message did something for you today. So just remember, you're not in this current circumstance is not your forever circumstance. So don't get caught up in the mess. Don't get caught up in the noise. Allow yourself to be more flow. Practice that. Let me give you guys one little tip and then we're done. Whenever it feels like it's too much, or you're about to punch somebody, or you want to make a decision and you're like, I think I'm going to kill this person, or it's just going to end bad. I'm probably going to cuss them out. Like, who are they to talk to me like this? They don't even know what I got. Blah, 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 blah. They don't. They don't know. They're only coming at you with their own eyes. They don't know what's going on in there. Or maybe they do and but if it's not made apparent, how do they know? I don't want them to know my business. Well, guess what? Somehow, some which way, they're in your business. Because when this telepathy really picks up, a lot of us have it already, but when it really picks up, don't think that you can hide, because we're all in this oneness together. So we're learning how to see each other through actual lenses. We're learning to see the duality within, not just the good, but the bad, and still love at the same time. I said something there. You're going to take a deep breath. And you're going to deep breath. And you're going to ask for clarity in every situation. This helps breath to keep you in a space. Think of it as an engine, an exhaust. Where is all that breath going? We're breathing. Where are you breathing out? Or are you just holding it in? Because if you're holding it in, you're going to turn into a balloon. But if you let it go, it goes. And then my intention of this breath, because it is an admission. It's going somewhere, right? But in that same time, you're letting out gases. You're letting out whatever it is. And you're asking this world to take care of it for you. Remember who you are. Never forget. Never forget. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.